Good evening. Welcome to Fantastic Dimensions. This is the third session of our Ravenloft campaign run in the Lamentations of the Flame Princess system. So we left off last session. 6 of the members of the Ever Victorious, after the fight with the wolves and bats and the resulting fire, which burned down the Burgomaster's mansion, had arrived at the church and found Father Donovich unconscious and bleeding on the floor. They picked him up and made sure he was okay, and he explained to them that a couple of gypsy men had come to the church in the night and struck him when he opened the door. And when he obviously came to and you were all there, you didn't see any sign of your friend Alistair, who had been staying the night in the church with the father. So I don't think we really did too much beyond that, aside from him waking up and explaining to you the last things he remembered. So we'll pick up right there. You're in the church. It's a little after midnight, somewhere between midnight and 1 a.m. And what would you like to do?
So, when I look around, do I see like any of Alistair's like belongings or anything like that?
No, he. It would seem that wherever he went, his belongings were taken with him. His horse was also not outside, so you assume he has his horse with him as well, or someone else has his horse at least.
So I go over to the father and I say, "Where is our friend Alistair?"
I told you I do not know. I assume the gypsies must have taken him.
Taken him. Um, and yeah, I guess I kind of like look, like give a puzzled look to the rest of the party.
Now hold on. I was under the impression that you never left this church. You weren't here when they took him away?
You found me here. I was unconscious. They knocked me out.
Ah, yes. Can't hear anything if you've fainted. Makes perfect sense.
Have you been drinking?
I'm here, aren't I?
Not
So they
like
knocked
his
you. You didn't see them before they knocked you out. It was a surprise attack. Is that it?
As I explained, they were knocking loudly on the front doors and said that they needed help. When I opened the doors, I saw them briefly. One of them struck me with something. I didn't see what it was. Maybe a club or a rock or something. And the next thing I knew, you were here, waking me up.
Wait, you're saying that they just came asking for help and knocked you out immediately and then presumably took Alistair somewhere? If they needed help, why didn't they ask you?
I don't have a very good relationship with them or their heathen leader, Madam Eva.
Then why would they come to you for help?
I do not know. It was an error in judgment on my behalf to open the door at all. I suppose, in hindsight, I should have left them to the night, but it's difficult when you hear someone screaming for help outside your door to ignore their calls.
So, what time of day is it right now?
It's
Midnight?
a little after midnight, somewhere between midnight and 1 a.m.
Do you know where they would have taken him?
I do not know. Perhaps to their camp.
Father, hold on. Do you know the gypsies that own the tavern? Was it them that came, or others?
They're all members of the same clan. They're all members of the same troop, anyway, I guess. I do not know their exact blood relation to one another.
Have you met the ones who run the tavern? Were they the same who took Alistair?
Sorry, I do not frequent the tavern.
So I would like to give him a physical description of the 3 gypsies in the tavern, see if it rings a bell.
says, that sounds like just about every gypsy man I've met.
Whenever I hear him say that they're all members of the same clan, I kind of turn around right on my heel and push my way out of the doors, flinging the doors open, and head straight for the tavern.
Wait.
I would ask the priest one last question. I would describe the bartender and see if that rings a bell.
So as Ada and Peace are both calling out for names for Cuthbert to wait, you're asking him this, and he shakes his head and says, "No, I'm afraid not. As I said, I have not been to the tavern." So Cuthbert, as they're calling out for you to wait, are you waiting, or are you going to keep walking?
No, I keep walking.
Okay, he keeps walking.
I said, wait for me, I say, following him.
Then he slows a little bit so Peace can catch up.
I would follow behind, and if I can catch up to him before he gets there, I would say,
They'll just deny it. Shouldn't we go to the camp? Or at least go to the general store first and stock up? I think you lost many things. I lost a couple.
Well, I didn't lose much. I made sure of that. As he's like walking really fast to his horse and starting to get on to Samuel. And he's like, if anybody knows where the camp is, it's going to be the owners of that bar.
I say we take the people in the bar, keep 2 prisoners, send one back to the camp, and exchange one of us for one of them.
Peace, your mind for violence is one after my own.
They don't take the ever victorious and without some kind of retribution.
And I don't Peace might notice the look of surprise on Cuthbert's face at seeing how willing she is to go in here and take people hostage and stuff like that.
Okay, what about Miklos and Edith and Ada?
I guess Edith would start following to the bar.
Okay.
Ada would wait for Miklos.
And Cuthbert, he normally doesn't do this, but Peace surprised him so much he offers her his hand to ride on the horse with him.
Yeah, she'll climb up. Quite pleased to be on the back of a horse. It's a while since she's ridden. And bring Ivana and Kolyan with us. I want to keep them in our sight.
Elena and Ismark, you mean?
Irina
and Ismark.
Irina.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nicholas, bring the locals. Shouldn't be a tough fight. It's just 3 men and an idiot.
What is?
Makes a mock imitation of the instructions he's been given, but he'll load his firearms before even making a move, and he'll make no effort to catch up, but he'll lag behind with the 2 locals.
Yeah, Ada's going to stay behind with Miklos and kind of he leaves everybody's things in the fucking barn to burn, and then he just runs off, and you're all burned up, and look, you've got this here, let me take care of this. And she's gonna grab your arm close and cast Cure Light Wounds and heal you for 11.
Ooh.
Very good. So, Cuthbert, and Peace are on the horse with Torgal and Edith trailing behind, just a short distance behind, and then further back will be Miklos, Ada, and the other two. They'll be they'll probably be at least a full minute or so behind you, since Miklos is reloading his guns and all that. So, yeah, you guys can march right down the street. It is the middle of the night. Everybody's boarded up inside. And when you get to the center and you get to where the inn is, the doors are closed, but there is still some light coming from inside.
Is there a window
There are windows, yes.
on the first floor?
Yep.
All right, so if there's a window on the ground floor, then I will take a peek through it, see if I see anything.
Well, the windows are boarded, but you can see a little bit through cracks in between two of the boards. You see the bartender standing there behind the bar, cleaning glasses. And you see a man sitting in a chair by the fire, with his feet propped up on another chair and drinking from a wine goblet.
Can I see his face or like his front, like you see one of the
face,
gypsies?
but you can see his multi-hued clothing.
Right.
So while he's doing that, I'd like to light a torch. And
I'm going to take out my crowbar, and I'm going to say, one of you could bang on the door loudly, and as you do, I could dislodge one of these boards and aim it towards the inside with my crossbow.
Are you going to break the glass first?
well, hold on there, my small friend. I was thinking we could maybe.
It'll take a couple knocks. I have to break the glass first.
Just one moment. I think we could threaten them with burning them out. We've already got somewhat of the reputation for doing that. Why don't we put a little bit of hay at the base of their establishment? Call them to come out and tell them that if they don't tell us what we want to know, that we'll burn their establishment down.
You don't think there's a back door to this place?
You don't think that they value their only form of income?
With the kidnapping and the commerce, it can't be their only form of income, but you do have a point.
And
There is a certain urgency to having a crossbow aimed at you, though.
why not both?
Might be a good idea, yes.
And I look up. Are there also windows on the second floor above the ground floor?
Yep, there are.
Boarded up as well?
You can't really tell from down here.
I turn around and say, well, what do you guys think?
Have we caught up by this time?
Probably the amount of time it's taken them to sit and discuss this, you guys would be just arriving.
Oh, you're actually asking for our opinions now. You're not just gonna run off and do things.
Well, I'm not the one who ran off.
Ada grumps.
Well, it seems as though no one has any urgency. One of our friends is gone, and you guys just want to interrogate a priest. And these men inside this tavern know exactly where he is.
I don't like the men in the tavern any more than you do, Cuthbert.
I mean, you're not even 100% that they have anything to do with the gypsies that took them, but you're just willing to incite violence against them anyway?
Well, I certainly think we should speak to them. And then if they don't cooperate, then, well, then they'll know diplomacy.
And I look at Edith.
I'll just knock on the door then.
Okay. You knock on the door, and there's no answer.
It's a tavern. Is the door locked?
Well, you can try to open it.
Yeah, I'll go up and try to open the door
It's
since
locked.
you guys are... Okay.
Doors are locked.
We know you're in there. We can see you. We just want to talk.
And about 30 seconds later, you hear a voice from the other side of the door say, "We're closed."
We just need some information.
"What are you doing out at this hour of night? Do you not know how dangerous it is in Barovia?"
We are dangerous.
Well, it seems that the real danger comes from you and your kin.
A few seconds pass, and then you hear the sound of a key in the door, and then the doors open, and you see one of the men you saw earlier standing there. He says, "Well, hurry up, get inside. I want to lock this door again."
No, there's no way that you're going to lock me in that building with you. How about you just come out here and talk to us for just a moment, and then you can go back inside your safe place.
One of our friends is missing, according to Father Donovic. One of your you might know who took him.
And what makes you think I know who took him?
Well, he said that it might now these are his words, not mine. He said you guys all knew each other. That you're all part of the same troop. Said some people came and knocked on the doors of his church asking for help, and then they took our friend.
I see. So what is it you want me to do?
Where can we find them?
Well, you'll probably find them at our camp. If you follow the road southwest out of the village, you'll cross a bridge, go through the forest for a ways. When you come to a fork in the road, turn right. That'll lead you up to where the camp is.
Now, hang on. What about this mist I hear about? Won't that prevent us from getting there?
This is within the realm of Barovia. You won't encounter the mists until you try to exit or go near the edges of the land.
It looks as though you've saved yourself from a Burgermeister-like fate.
Why? What's happened to the Burgomaster?
Just his residences seem to... what's the word, Peace?
Regrettable accident.
Exactly.
Don't mind them. They're both drunk.
I'll tell you who's drunk.
Just because I'm drunk doesn't mean I've lost my faculties, young lady.
Well, I do hope the old man and his children are okay. Ah, well, I see they're here with you. And he looks over your shoulder and sees Irina and Ismark there near Miklos.
So Cuthbert kind of turns to everybody and he says, "So what do you say? We go to the gypsy camp this night?"
Well, if the general store is closed, I see no other thing interesting to do tonight, so yes.
The man who opened the door and...
Sorry, what'd you say, Corinne? I didn't hear much of that.
I was just going to say, close up and leave. And since, they seem to be done with it.
Yeah, he'll close the door and lock it then.
As he moves towards the door, I'll cast web on him.
You're going to cast web on him as he's going to close the door?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a saving throw for that? I don't think
No.
there is there? No. Okay,
No.
you cast web on him, and you web him right there in the
And sort
open
of
doorway.
web the insides of the tavern, sort of 20 feet back from him. He's caught on one side, and whoever tries approaching will be caught on the other.
He says, "What is this about? I've told you what you wanted to know. Why do you assault me?"
Some of the information and your general attitude that we've received from you has not been trustworthy. We'll take you as a prisoner down to the camp if everything you tell us, and if our friend is safe, then we will release you. But until that time, you are our prisoner.
You're not going to make very many friends amongst my kin.
You haven't made very many friends amongst us.
Very well. He says, "Can I at least give the keys to, what's the bartender's name? To Eric here, so he can lock the door behind us? Would hate for something to happen to him in the night."
Yes, you can.
Is he still just standing there cleaning the glass?
He's
Yeah, he's back at the bar at the far end of the tavern, cleaning glasses.
Not reacting to this at all?
No. He seems pretty simple.
I would peek through the window. Is there anybody else in this level? Or is this the man, presumably, who was by the fire?
Nope, you only saw this man and the bartender inside.
So if I look again, then I would only see the bartender. And a bit of web.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
So, I hand some rope to Cuthbert. Would you mind tying him up?
Peace would be my pleasure.
Now hold on. Be careful that you don't get stuck. That looks very sticky.
I'm terribly sorry. Sorry about this.
And carefully link.
You shouldn't apologize to kidnappers.
He didn't do it.
Puh. They're all the same.
So I carefully, tie the rope around his wrists, and then I pass the end of the rope back up to Peace, who's on my horse, to put around the pommel of the horse.
Yep. Peace will tie it, not trying to use her own strength here.
I'll take the keys from him and give them to the bartender.
Well, you have to walk through the web to do that. Are you going to dispel the web piece?
I'll do it even if he doesn't.
Just toss it to him. I'm sure he can wander around the bar and pick them up.
The web will be gone in a while, and that will guard your door. The web will block your door until it dispels. Just throw the keys into the web, and when the keys fall as the web disintegrates, then you can lock the door.
Okay, so you're going to try to basically strong-arm this guy out of the web?
Yep.
It'll take you a little while, but you'll eventually be able to pull him out, causing him a few hit points of damage probably in the process. Takes a lot of force.
Kind of like getting your tongue stuck to a piece of ice, but all over your body instead.
Yeah, exactly.
He's getting 40-year-old virgin right now with the chest hair.
Okay, so you've got him, his hands tied, and he's tied to the pommel of Cuthbert's horse. You guys going to follow the road as per his instructions?
He can lead the way.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Yeah, he will. So it takes you head west to the edge of the village, and the road then kind of turns southwest and goes for, let's see, about 800 feet or so till it comes to a bridge that crosses over the river. And then it continues into the woods again. So you're now walking through more of the Svalich woods. And let's see here. Hold on a second. got quite a journey through the woods. Another couple thousand feet maybe before you get to the place where it branches off. It goes to the left or to the right. The left heading southeast or southwest, sorry, and the right turning northwest. And he will take you along the northwest direction. Oops, this is the wrong presentation. No. Yes. Where is it? Oh, I seem to. Okay, there we go. There's what I was looking for. Okay, sorry about that. So it takes you to the northwest, and here, where the crossroads are, it kind of cleared up a bit. The trees to the southwest, but as you head northwest, the trees continue along your right-hand side, and then eventually they kind of surround you again a little ways until you kind of come up along close again to the river shore, and you hear some music ahead. The canopy of mist and branches overhead suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above, and there is a clearing. Dry, brittle grass rustles in the biting wind. On the far side of the clearing are several colorful wagons parked on the banks of a pool. The mournful strains of an accordion mix meekly with the moaning of the wind. Several brightly clad figures surround a large, roaring fire. The road seems to pass close by this camp. You see about 11 people standing and sitting around the fire. One of the people you will notice from a distance is Alistair. And the man who is your prisoner will look over his shoulder and says, "See, there is your friend. He doesn't look harmed to me."
I don't think we should all approach them as a group. I think that might be a bit alarming.
You can see them. Surely they can see you.
Do they look armed?
Yeah, they probably are. They let me just double check here. What do they arm themselves with? Yeah, they'd have like short sword type, small sword like things.
Alistair.
We're better armed than they are.
Alistair, I call out.
Alistair, you're sitting at this campfire. It's quite late at the night now. It's easily after 1 a.m. when you hear voices, or you hear Peace's voice call out your name.
Yeah, and he does kind of a double take, looking back to try to see who's calling, and he immediately smiles when he sees the group. Oh, hell, yes, good, you're here. And he'll get up and walk over to greet them.
One of the gypsies at the camp will say, "Oh, your friends have arrived. Please invite them to join us. There's plenty of wine for everyone."
So Peace approaches Alistair and says, "Were you taken here against your will? Are you a prisoner? Do you need rescuing?"
Those are three separate questions with three separate answers. I was originally brought here against my will, but it was somewhat of an overreaction on their part. I'm not being held now, and I am in no need of rescue. These people have been very kind to me since they were having a medical emergency and needed someone of my expertise.
Then it seems we too have overreacted and made the same mistake. I say, turning back to our captive gypsy. I'll start untying him. We heard one of our party was taken by one of yours, and we reacted accordingly. But it seems to have been an overreaction on both sides. she
And
says.
Alistair looks at Peace with a very like warm smile and like that look that says like he's almost about to tear up a little bit. Like, I very greatly appreciate the gesture, Mom. Just gives a little head bow.
One of the gypsy men from the camp comes up and shakes hands with the gentleman who you kidnapped from the bar. He says, Stefan, welcome home. Come, have a drink. He says, Abrana had her baby today, a healthy young girl, thanks to the efforts of Alistair here. And then he turns to you as Stefan kind of walks past him, then to go sit down at the fire and have a glass of wine. This man turns to you and says, it was fated that you would all visit this humble camp eventually. Madam Eva foretold of your coming. She awaits you. And he gestures towards a large tent within the camp.
I wonder whether her foretelling included an invitation written in the name of the Burgermeister. She's saying that to her group.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
congratulations on your new doctor.
Hey, they're gonna have the same birthday as you, Torgal.
I guess that's right. Well, I drink to that, but I think we have to talk to this lady first. And I turn to Alistair and I come close to him and I attempt to lower the tone of my voice, but it's probably still audible to anybody standing close and say, did they really knock out the other priest? I guess they really don't like each other.
It was as soon as he opened the door, they struck. It was rather uncalled for, I should say. There was no love lost between the groups, it would seem. These pagan gypsies have no respect for God. And then he like kind of leans in and hastily adds, "Yet."
Oh, my friend Alistair, hope springs eternal. Especially your hope.
Did you guys bring Steve and Arthur with you as well? Or would you have left them at the church?
I would imagine we did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Alistair will immediately go greet Arthur. Does he have his horse and the dogs then? So like there's the whole party here with all the animals?
Yeah, let's see. He probably would have brought your horse. I don't know about the dogs though. Might have left the dogs back at the church with the father.
Okay. So he'll immediately go check on him. Hi, Arthur, how are you? You doing okay? I see you all traveled out in the dead of night to arrive. I hope you're not well.
He says, "Oh, Father, it's been a crazy night. There was an attack at the mansion, and then there was a fire, and the whole thing burned to the ground. And I was able to save your animals, though."
Oh, well, very well. I'm just glad you're all right, boy.
Yeah, the cart, I'm afraid, couldn't be saved. I'm sorry, Father. There wasn't time. I wouldn't have been able to have gotten the horse if I had tried for the cart as well.
No, of course. The animal's the most important thing, and yourself, of course. I'm just glad you were uninjured. I've got plenty still with me. We'll just have to resupply feed for the horses. That's most of what we lost on the cart.
Ismark will step up and say, "I personally have no desire to speak to this gypsy witch. My sister and I will stay here at the fire and await you."
Now, Ismark, it's your family and your decision. But and I try to lower my voice, but I'm sure she can hear. And I say, wasn't your sister sick with something? Maybe this woman can help where others couldn't.
You may speak to her as you wish, but I do not think she can help Irina. Irina is better staying with me.
Well, don't stray too far away from camp. Stay close to the fire.
Peace falls back a little to the back of to where Laszlo, Miklos Laszlo is, and says, "We are from a different part of the world, but you are from. Your homeland is closer to these parts, is it not? Perhaps you've had more dealings with these gypsies. What's your opinion on them?"
I wouldn't say I've had much dealings with them. My dealings are mostly adventurers from elsewhere, getting them from point A to point B. I mean, I wouldn't trust them as much as far as I could throw them. But I could say that about most folks.
Well, let's go forwards and see what she has to say, but it was a gypsy who did it to us to bring us here. Remember that.
So I look towards one of the gypsies that was here before, and I say, "So, you say a woman runs this camp, right?"
Madam Eva, she is the wisest of us. She leads us.
I see. Feels just like home. Just like my boobala mama and my booba before her. It doesn't work, but it's not like the men are any better. Well, lead us to her. I'd like to meet her.
And Peace will be scanning the sort of crowds, the faces around, seeing if she can recognize the gypsy who first came and delivered the first invitation, the false invitation from the Burgermeister.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a wisdom roll. Call it. As you're kind of looking around, trying to mark faces.
Okay, I get
just roll a d20 and compare it to your wisdom.
Yep. It's no, over my wisdom. And I'm trying to get under, I guess.
You don't see him, but there are several people whose faces you don't get a very clear look at as well. But you don't see him at the moment anyway.
I'll mention to Ada as I fall in next to Ada, keep an eye open for the one who delivered the note. See if we can see him. Because he must have got through the mist. He must have a way through this mist.
No, all right. I will.
So the man leads you over to a large tent and lifts the flap for you to enter.
I'll go right in.
Yeah, I follow without any issue.
Okay.
Yep.
Does anybody not go in? You all go in, I presume. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve and Arthur as well. Okay. So the 7, 8, 9 of you, 9 of you all walk in to Madam Eva's tent. Within all is dimly illuminated pools of red light. A small, low table stands across from the doorway, covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball on the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. She speaks, her voice crackling like dry weeds. Her tone soars and falls like the wind outside. At last you have arrived! Her sudden cackling laughter bursts like mad lightning from her withered lips. And I think I have an image here of Madam Eva. There we go. She looks up and she says, "Ah." She says, "Yes, yes, I knew you would all come." She looks at the boy and says, "Ah, young Arthur with a heart of gold. Yes, I saw the time you stole that bread, but you left a couple of precious stones in its place because you felt guilty about stealing from the poor merchant. Yes. And you, Torgal the dwarf." She says, "You tried to be a merchant once, but found that you couldn't even sell your father's stolen jewelry. Yes, what a shame. And you," she looks over at Peace. She says, you who once had an affair with a young, handsome Frenchman, claimed to be the devil, taught you of magic, did he not?"
He was a foolish boy. He wasn't. Who made foolish claims. And I never had an affair, she adds quickly.
"Oh, and there I see Steve McKean," and she gestures at your driver, as it were. She says, "Wanted for a crime of passion in his home kingdom, now in exile, out here in the wastes of Central Europe. Can never return to London, can you, my boy?"
What did you do, Steve? Alistair turns very seriously.
Oh, you should not speak, Alistair, burner of children. Yes, I saw what you did as well.
He just grows very pale.
And Ada the romantic. You still carry the guns that he gave you, don't you?
And
Do not be ashamed. He was quite a charming young man. You'll never see him again anyway. He's been dead nearly a year.
yeah, I know.
And you, she looks at Edith, you, yes. You tried your hand at being a thief before you became a warrior, did you not? Landed you in prison for a short time? Edith is your name.
Edith will just narrow her eyes.
And Miklos Laszlo, yes. Eater of human flesh. Oh, yes. I know what you did. One must wonder if you are better or worse than the vampire himself. For he, at least, is a monster who consumes human flesh. But you, no, you don't have that excuse, do you?
He closes his fingers from on the hilt of his flintlock.
Would you like to eat my flesh as well? Or are those days behind you? I think they are.
Those days are behind all of us. And may I say my father's jewelry was not good enough for his fellow dwarf, but it was good enough for the lot of you. And I kind of look around in general at every other person in the room.
And she says, and last I see Cuthbert Allen, a man who stole from his own king. I suppose the military life wasn't for you, was it, young man?
How did you know that?
I have seen it, just as I had seen that you would come here. And I have seen that you will face the Devil Strahd. Yes, go to his castle you will, and attempt to rid this land of its curse. I commend you for it.
If you command, will you also assist?
And what do you see beyond the attempt? What's our fate in this?
Oh, the future is very hard to see. I do not know if you will be successful or not, but this I can tell you. Once you go into that castle, none of you will leave alive unless the Devil Strahd himself is dead.
And like at this, like Cuthbert, you can see him starting to get like visibly upset because he's not even told anybody else that he stole from the king. And uh, and he said, "How can you so accurately predict all of our futures or all of our pasts or whatever, and can't see simply just a few months into the future? You must try. Do it now. Tell us what happens in Strahd's castle now."
Yes, still very impatient, aren't you, Mr. Allen? Well, she says, I can do one thing to assist you. And she picks up a deck of cards and sets it on her table. She says, I can read your fortune.
And like right beside on either side of the deck of cards, he kind of like slams his hands down and says, "Do it now."
Cuthbert,
kind of frothing at the mouth.
Cuthbert, you'll frighten her cat, says Peace, reaching out and stroking the cat.
Well, do you wish to hear it or not? It is the only thing I may do for you, I'm afraid. I may be able to convince some of my people to give you a discount on any wares you purchase during your stay, of course. That I may be able to do as well. Prices are very high in Barovia.
And he kind of grits his teeth and gets like a little bit closer to her face, and he says, "Do it now."
Very well. She draws a card and says, this card is a symbol of great power. It tells of a powerful force for good and protection against the forces of darkness. And she turns over the 10 of spades. She says, this is in a place of dizzying heights that all loathe to travel. The road winds ever upward, and the rocks themselves live here. The spade is a dark shadow of evil cast over that place. You will fight under its influence here. This card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancients may help you understand a foe. And she turns over the 7 of spades. She says, you may find this amid the ruins of a place of supplication. But again, you fight under the influence of the spade here. This next card is the object of your search. I see darkness and evil behind this card. It is a powerful man whose enemy is light and whose powers are beyond mortality. She turns over the King of Hearts and says, a king's throne is the place to find this. There is a very good influence there. If you are there, the powers of good will aid you. And this card is good for you. It is a card of power and strength, the victor's card. It tells of a weapon of light, a weapon with a vengeance, and she turns up the Jack of Hearts. This lies with a fallen prince of old. The brother of dark is light, and he rests in this place. And then she draws one final card and says, and here is the root card. Out of darkness and chaos, this card finds the reason and foundation for darkness and chaos. This card shows the purpose of all things. It is the key to life and death and else beyond. And she turns over the Ace of Hearts. This is a very bad sign. This is in the very heart of darkness, his home, his source. It is his center and his life. It is the one place to which he must return. She says, here is a high and noble card. One of you carries a weapon that is stronger than any other against the evil in this land. Only one part is missing from this weapon, and that part is found in the evil one's lair. And that's still in reference to the Ace of Hearts. And there you have it. That is all I can tell you.
What? You've told me nothing. You've told me absolutely nothing. And Cuthbert turns and kind of faces the party. He kind of he meets eyes with Miklos and he meets eyes with Alistair, and he kind of looks like a little bit disgusted and pushes his way out of the tent, leaving and goes and stands outside the flap.
I will take a couple steps forward and say, "Ma'am, may I keep this card to remember?" And I reach for the Ace of Hearts.
And she puts her hand down on it and pulls it back with all the other cards and shuffles it back into her deck and says, absolutely not. I have read your fortune. I have told you everything you need to know to face the evil in Castle Ravenloft. I have told you where to find these things. Now, it is up to you what you will do with this information.
What of the evil outside the castle? What can you tell me about Irina? What is afflicting that girl?
Oh, the young girl with the fiery hair who waits for you at the fire outside. She has been marked by the devil himself. He will continue to come for her, and if he continues to drink of her blood, he will eventually make her one like him, or perhaps just destroy her in the process.
Do you know how we save her?
I tried to remove a curse from her. That didn't help.
The only way you can save her from her curse is by destroying the devil himself. Now, I have stayed up late waiting for you to arrive. I must rest. I bid you good fortune, for your fortune is that of all of Barovia now. Either you will succeed and we will all be freed of the curse, or you will fail and you will join the March of Heroes.
Well, so where's a mountain around here? You said the first one was, dizzying heights and all that. Where might that be?
Oh,
The
castle sits high on the mountain, child. If you follow the road south from here, at the fork, you follow it right to the southwest. It will take you through the forest in ever-increasing heights. You will cross a great bridge and come to another fork. There his carriage awaits you, and it will take you the rest of the way east to the castle, if you like. But I warn you, do not go until you are well prepared. For once you set foot in his castle, you will not leave again until either he is dead or your spirit joins the nightly march.
That sounds ominous. But king and prince. That's not Strahd, I take it.
The king and prince?
Yeah, the king's throne. Is that also, up there in the castle?
Where else would you find a throne child?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you had, another, have you been to Italy? There's like castles all over the place. You're practically tripping over them.
There is only one castle here in Barovia. That is Castle Ravenloft. And it is where Strahd waits. It is where he lives and dwells.
There's a cemetery by the church, right? Are there any tombs and mausoleums?
There are many graves there. It is from that very cemetery where the March of Heroes departs every night at midnight and makes its redundant march up to the castle, doomed to repeat this every night for all of eternity. For their spirits, and yours, should you perish here, cannot join their gods. They are trapped here forever, as long as the devil lives.
You do not understand the power of my God. He will find me wherever I am and bring me home. It is my time to rest.
You, young man, will find that your God has very little power here. Now go. You tire me. You will tire me to death with all of your questions. I've told you everything. Shoo, she says, and she gets up from behind her table and starts making gestures for you all to get out of her tent.
Yeah, Alistair doesn't need to be told twice.
Okay. I mean,
just one final question. How do you tie your hairband like that? And she'll... anyway, and then she'll go out.
And she kind of like pushes you out. Rather, not too forcefully. She's a feeble old woman, but... You too, flesh eater. Come on. She gestures for Miklos to get out.
He'll give her a very dirty look before he leaves.
So once you get out, you hear the accordion music again playing, and you see... But there's now 11 of the gypsy men, and you see Ismark and Irina there at the fire, drinking wine, eating a little bit of bread.
Ah, so that's where they keep it. Ah, might be a good day after all.
And I go over there and join them.
Yep, they happily pour you a wooden goblet of wine. Ask you if you would like any bread. It was baked fresh yesterday.
Does the wine taste better than what they had in the tavern?
It's not as watered down, yeah.
I like
it tastes decent, yeah.
And I definitely joined Torgal by the fire, sipping wine.
And I think like after like leaving the tent once again, Ada is going to like walk up to Miklos and kind of say, your other arm, I think I missed that one. Do you need me to heal you so some more?
I think he'll raise an eyebrow and give you a look after the kind of secrets that have just been revealed. But he'll hold it in his left hand, a goblet of wine, in motion for someone to pour it, and just lift his right arm up.
And Ada will take that arm and heal you for another 9.
And that'll put me to full health.
Sweet.
Also, he'll have downed at least 2 goblets of mead in the time it's taking you to heal.
Probably.
Arthur will approach you, Alistair, and kind of tug on your sleeve a bit, and say to you whisperingly, he says, "Do you think everything she said is true? Could she really know our pasts?"
Sometimes the good Lord gifts people with certain abilities that we can't understand, and it's possible. I will only say that many of us, well, all of us were young, and many of us made mistakes when we were young.
So that means Miklos really ate people?
He kind of gives a little bit of a glance over. I honestly, I don't know, but it's very possible. He lives in the wild for a long time, and the people out there, being out there by yourself, can turn a man barbaric. But he can be saved. Remember that. There's always a chance.
And
as long as they draw breath.
That means Steve's a murderer too? He looks over at the driver who's drinking wine quietly by the fire, kind of nervously looks over at him and just he says, what kind of people have we positioned ourselves amongst, Father?
Can
Jesus
Cuthbert
spent his
overhear
time
this?
with... Well, what?
I'm sorry, I was just wondering if Cuthbert could overhear this conversation at all.
Tell you what, go ahead and give me a wisdom roll. I would say you need to beat it by half, though, because they are having kind of a whispered conversation.
Yeah, I only beat it by 1.
Nope.
But I do notice them, like...
Yeah, you just see them kind of whispering a little bit.
You feeding that boy lies over there, Alistair?
And Alistair kind of ignores that for the moment and finishes talking to Arthur, who just says, "We're spending our time with the people who most need what we have to spread."
Yes. Well, I guess we'll all probably need each other before this is done. Are we really going to that castle?
I'm afraid we may have to.
And he kind of gestures across the pond, and like you can see the castle on the mountain well up high above.
And I think
Kind
perhaps
of northeast of here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Were you guys in? I'm sorry.
I am. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say that perhaps the reason Cuthbert doesn't quite hear what's going on over there is Ada comes up to him, and as he like interjects into their conversation, she'll just kind of like give him a stern look and just kind of say, "Are you starting fights with the rest of us now? And you're hurt. Here, let me. I'm about to go to bed. Let me take care of this." And she'll like point to your wounds.
And he's like, "Perhaps you're right. I have had a little bit too much to drink this night. It's just a little bit unnerving, some of the things that they said about our companions. Torgal, not that big of a deal. Stealing from your father, it's not something we've all done. But we've got the child burner and the people eater in our party now. And I don't know how I feel about that."
Well, I mean, Miklos hasn't. Madam Eva said that he doesn't do that anymore, and that is enough for me.
Perhaps.
And she'll kind of lay her hand on you and cast Cure Light Wounds. And ooh, you get max, so 13 points of healings.
Oh, that's awesome. That puts me almost up back to max. Sweet.
Sweet. And then Ada's not gonna partake of any of the festivities because, drinking and wine, whatever's. She's
You can
gonna
eat some of the bread if you want.
Yeah, she'll do some of that.
The bread's nice. It's much nicer than what they had in the But did you guys have any bread in the tavern? I don't even remember if you did.
No,
or not.
Peace got bread from.
That's right. She had brought some.
Yeah,
From the previous build. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, it's pretty decent. It's pretty nice. No mold.
Cool.
Peace will have a bite to eat, but she's gone fairly silent, and she, from her spell book, she pulls out an old letter that she hasn't read for a while, and she reads that and stuffs it back in, and then goes around the camp looking for an empty tent, and she'll just whoever tent it is, she'll go and try and sleep in the bed if it's not taken. Any free bed that she finds, free bedding, she'll try and sleep there.
Sure, you crawl into one of the empty gypsy tents and climb into the sleeping roll.
Torgal is drinking heartily with the gypsies and trading songs with them.
And then Cuthbert, he goes to. Does anybody seem like they're kind of like the leader or anything like that?
Well, they told you Madam Eva was their leader, but the one, the guy who led you to the tent, he does come back over. Maybe 5 minutes or so after you guys had left the tent, he also comes out of the tent. Then so he went back inside when you guys came out, and he joins back amongst the group, singing and dancing and drinking.
And well, I go and I approach him and I say, so it seems as though some of my companions have lost a lot of their gear. Do you have anything you might be able, any wares you might be able to trade?
He says, yes, indeed. He says, we have a store in the village. I have been instructed from Madam Eva to sell you anything you need there at cost. I will make sure that the proprietor of the store gets the information in the morning. He is a man by the name of Bildrath.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Presumably everybody's been talking about their loss gear enough to know who's got the least things, right?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So he goes who amongst the party doesn't have a lot of things anymore?
Ada.
Yeah, I think that would be all of us because Cuthbert.
Yep.
Somehow.
Well, it seems as though we've got to make our way back into town to resupply some of your stuff. Of course, I'm fine. I don't need anything. But I might be able to help some of you out with some coin if you need it.
The gypsy man who at first led you over to the tent and stuff speaks up. He says, you should probably put that off until tomorrow. It's dangerous to travel at night, and the store is closed at this hour anyway. In the morning, if you like, I will travel with you, and I'll speak to Bildrath to make sure he understands the nature of the situation and that you receive your discount. You should be safe here. The fires and the music tends to keep the wolves away from the camp at night.
You would hear in the distance near the fire, Torgal raising his voice. Now listen to this one. Listen to this one you've never heard before. It's an old dwarven. I'm sure that you've never heard this song before in these parts. Verover de mystige bergen, der kerk is deep and clotted out. And he goes on and on.
They start clapping along, and the accordion player tries to play a suitable melody to match. So yeah. Anything else anybody wants to do tonight, or does anybody actually want to get a decent night's sleep?
I think I'm
Besides
gonna
Peace,
jump
who's
in.
already probably sleeping.
Yep, she's fast asleep in somebody else's bed.
Indeed. Do you wake up when the gypsy crawls in beside you and lays down beside you and puts his arm around you?
If he's warm and comfortable, that's fine.
Fair enough.
Or she. I don't know what kind of bed I've crawled into.
I think Cuthbert will probably just drink by the fire until he passes out.
Sure. Ismark and Arena will kind of they get a sleeping roll from one of the gypsies, and they roll it out there by the fire and lay down.
Does
Yeah, when
Ada
I
get a
see him.
complimentary sleeping roll as well?
The kind of, well, seemingly the leader of this little group at the moment anyway, he says if you prefer the safety of a dry tent, he says I could accommodate you.
And I think I'll be good outside. Thank you, though.
Very well. I will procure a sleeping roll for you.
She's totally keeping it.
For me as well, young man, I think I'll join young Cuthbert here, who's already sleeping with the angels of his kind.
Very well. And Steve has kind of leaned up against a tree near the pond, and kind of leaned back against it and seems to have gone to sleep with his hat pulled over his face. Arthur says to you, Alistair, he says, "What about us, Father? Where will we sleep? What should we do?"
Let's stay near the horses. If the cart is gone, we've lost our sleeping rolls. So tonight will be a field night. It happens from time to time. Here, you can sleep under my buff coat. It should provide some warmth.
We have some blankets on the saddles, at least.
Ah, good thinking, boy.
They might smell of horse, but
you prepare our sleeping area. I'm going to say a few prayers before I go to sleep. And Alistair will find a nice quiet spot and cast divination just to try to know about the general area around them. Yeah, just the general woods.
Okay, let's see here. What does divination tell you?
The divine powers know everything that was, everything that is, and everything that will be. The spell allows the cleric to distract his god with his resplendent devotion and allows some of the god's knowledge to slip into the world. Cleric can then interpret those memories to gain information regarding an area, building, area of a dungeon, or other similar place. Information gained includes, in vague terms, a general idea of how powerful the creatures are there present, the general amount of treasure present, what kind of resistance to attack is present, and the nature of it, whether it is good, evil, chaotic, lawful, etc. Base chance is a 60% plus 1% per caster level, so it'd be 67. Referee rolls in secret, and then you give me false information if I fail.
Okay, so what you pick up is that there's a great amount of wealth here in the camp itself. The gypsies do seem to be keeping quite a bit of wealth. Not anything visible that you can tell, but they probably keep it in their wagons and such. As far as creatures go, let's see here. You would detect the power of such creatures, yeah? So there are lots of things that you pick up in the woods surrounding the area. Nothing in sight. Ranging in very, very low power to you pick up a couple of things here and there of a pretty considerable amount of power as well. You reckon the lower power things could be things like wolves and things of that sort. You're not exactly sure, of course, but I'm just saying as far as what you might kind of discern yourself just from the power you sense. And then the more powerful things, you shudder to think of what they might be.
After getting up from this prayer, Alistair goes to his saddlebag, and he removes the arquebus, which is still kind of strapped onto it, and he pulls out a bit of from the saddlebag, one of his scatter shot, a bit of a scatter shot, and loads it with that, and sets that next to him as he in the little bed that Arthur's prepared. And then he also goes back to the saddlebag, pulls out his backup pistol, and walks over to Arthur and says, "It appears that we've entered a very dangerous place, and I think it would be best if you kept this with you." They'll hand him the pistol.
Very, very well, Father. I hope I won't need it.
I should hope so as well, but only fire it if I tell you to, or if your life is in danger.
I only get one shot, right?
Yes.
Well, at least, if anything, it will alert everyone else as to danger in the area.
Yes, and I want you to familiarize yourself with reloading. I have a feeling I may need you to reload my pistols in the near future, while I am otherwise occupied. And he kind of glances down at his sword for a moment, make sure that it's also nearby. All right, let's get some rest. It's probably much to do tomorrow.
Okay. And what about Edith?
Edith is probably snoozing by the fire.
Okay, no problem. No sleeping rule necessary, just kind of...
Yep.
Okay. What about Miklos?
He'll be roughing it with more or less where he was sitting when Ada healed him up. You know, with the back leaning against that log, feet out towards the fire kind of idea.
Very good. Okay, so you all make your beds for the night. The camp doesn't come under any kind of assault or attack as the night passes. And who wakes with the dawn? Does anybody sleep in?
Ada will wake early so that she can prepare her spells for the next day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Alistair as well.
And peace.
Okay. You guys can just write down what spells you want to prepare for the day. I trust you, so you don't need to post them for me or anything. I suppose the rest of you are all sleeping pretty close to the campfire, yeah? So you'll probably wake up from the sound of the gypsies getting up and making breakfast, and you'll wake up to the smell of... what would you smell? I suppose you wake up to the smell of bacon, eggs, and bread being toasted.
What a day. And I reach down, I pop off a garlic clove and put it in my mouth, chew it, and swallow it. Then I look around. Food. Well, not such a bad day then.
And Peace goes to check on Irena. Has she slept okay?
She's still actually sleeping. Ismark is awake, kind of sitting beside her, watching over her. He looks up and sees you approach, and says she seems to be sleeping just fine.
Good.
She's considerably weaker than she was before the vampire attacks. I worry for her. What is the plan now? What will you do?
I need to consult my companions, see what they think. I have some ideas myself, but they don't always listen to me. They're not that wise.
I will take Arena with me back to the village. We have a guest house not far from where our house was. It is not fortified yet, but that's what I plan to do today. We'll need a place to live.
You had iron grills over the windows, but they did not stop the bats getting in, and the wood did not stop the wolves breaking through. I suggest if there is a blacksmith in the village, get them to make a close-fitting grill to cover the windows of one room that will stop even the bats, and replace a wooden door with a cage, which will also stop the bat, with holes too small to stop the bats getting through. And you can't do better than cold iron. It's stronger than wood. It might stop the vampire, though I don't know what will. But try that.
I'll see what I can do and what I can convince them to assist me with. I'm afraid most of our fortune was inside the mansion when it burned.
The best fortune you can have is the goodwill of your friends. Fortunes can be lost and won, but a good reputation will see you through the hard times, and people who trust you will come to your aid. Trade on that and hope to see an end to this curse. If we've got no other thing to do, if there's no other way out of here, then the ever victorious will try locking horns with this devil Strahd, and well, we are the ever victorious. I wouldn't give up hope.
I'm sorry, I just saw Corinne. I just saw your post in the chat. Arena does not have any armor. Ismark has like leather armor.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So,
By the way, Ian, how much HP do you recover after a night's rest?
a single night's rest. Well, you got a good night's sleep, so I'll let you have back 1 hit point plus your Constitution modifier. Or minus.
All right, sounds good.
If your Constitution modifier is a negative, you still get back 1 hit point. Just that.
You die after 3 nights.
HP then.
I am 1 from full.
So, yeah. So if you guys want to stick around, the gypsies will share the breakfast with you. There's eggs and bacon and fresh bread.
Oh, yeah. So what is the plan?
There's wine and water.
Cuthbert would probably take any opportunity for something to soak up some of the booze from last night, because I'm pretty sure he drank
Yeah.
3 separate occasions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a remnants of a nightmare as Miklos wakes up. You have a blizzard of sizzling flesh and dead accusatory eyes as he smells the bacon in his sleep.
And Cuthbert sees this and he says, "Remind you of something?"
That's a quick move you've got there, but is it quicker than a bullet?
Ooh, everybody look out, Miklos is gonna eat me.
I'm just going, hey, pick the plate out of your hand and walk away.
And he kind of stands there baffled, and then just grabs another one from the gypsy. Like, and this is all like a rude, very rude exchange. Miklos takes his, and then he takes somebody else's and walks away.
Turtles breaks off some of the large piece of bread that he took and handed it over to Ismark and kind of like tries to motion with a quick movement of the head and the eyes that he should try to feed his sister. But it's all rather obvious. She would probably notice.
Wait, whose sister? Are you going to try to feed Irina?
No, like I give Ismark a large piece of bread, and
Oh,
I
sorry.
try to like surreptitiously say, you should feed your sister. She looks ill, but it's all very obvious. Torgo's not one for settlement.
Yeah. He would have done it anyway. He definitely does. So, and the gypsy man from last night will kind of come up and say, well, because I'm going to head towards the village. Stefan is coming with me. You see the man from the bar who you kidnapped the night before. And he says, will we all go together?
I have a question. If we wanted to go over to the castle, say, would the village be on the way anyway, or is it in the other direction?
No. The castle is way up high on the mountain. When you go south from here on the road, you would turn left to go towards the village, or you would turn right to start heading the path that leads eventually up the mountain into the castle.
I would look over to my companions and say, looks like we're safer here in this camp than in town. They got wolves over there, and there were none last night. I say we restock and rest here, and take care of that bastard in the castle. We don't need to go back to town. Matter of fact, and I look over at Ismark and I say, I'll be honest with you, kid. I don't think you'll be safe in town. I don't think you're safe at all long as you're with your sister. If anything, you should help us. It slightly increases our chances of success. You should come with us. Confront the bastard. Your sister's life depends on it.
And who will look after her in the village?
Well, she is ill, but I don't think Strahd will try to harm her in any way. I think she's actually safer coming with us.
You're mad. You expect me to take my sister to the devil's castle?
If the devil wanted your sister dead, he would have already killed her. And if he looks to turn her into what he is, then he can certainly do it in town. Your iron bars couldn't stop him.
So we're going to take her there and make it easier for him?
If anything, it would distract him.
I can't say that I agree with using the girl as bait.
We're not fishing, priest. We're killing a bastard.
You don't want to try and pursue some of these leads, I guess, that Madam Eva spoke of? You just want to head straight to the castle and go for it, as it were?
Well, maybe your memory is better than mine, girl, but here's what I remember. There was something that could make a powerful weapon like Betsy here even more powerful. And there was something about a tall, high, rocky place. And that's the castle, if you ask me.
Well, Alistair had said something about the mausoleums or the tombs of the church might have something
Yes,
to do
she
with
talked about
the fallen prince.
Sorry, Ada, I didn't mean to cut in.
No, you're fine. That's yeah. But see, Peace remembers the fallen prince that might be at the church.
In the ruins of a place of supplication.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ada nods like empathically, like, see?
Right. But I propose we return here every night if we stay any longer. The camp seems safer than the town. That is sure.
We don't want to overstay our welcome here.
Would they let us come back?
Oh, come on, they'll trade.
Do we have things to trade?
Well, I've got coin.
So
Ada
do I.
will go up to the gypsy man that propositioned her the night before,
Sure.
and ask if we have things. We have things that we were wanting to take care of in town, but if night falls, would it be all right if we came back here?
Oh, sorry, you broke up on me there. What'd you say?
Oh,
Things
so
you want to
we
take care of in town.
And if night falls, would it be all right if we returned here?
He says, of course, you and your companions are more than welcome to stay here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
He says, I'm very sorry. I did not mean to be rude last night. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Yenoro. And he reaches out a hand.
Ada will take it, give it a shake.
And he pulls it up and kisses it.
Like, but now I know your name, and Noro.
And what is your name, my lady?
I'm Ada.
Ada. Ah, it's a very simple yet beautiful name.
And kind of blushes and backs away. But thank you. We'll come back to tonight.
Of course. As I said, you're more than welcome in my tent if you like. I'm certain my wife will not mind.
But yeah. Hey guys, we can come back here tonight if we want to. She says to bring other people into the now seriously awkward conversation.
I would go over to the gypsy merchant.
They're merchant?
Well, they said that they would introduce me to someone in the camp that would sell me something at cost.
Oh no,
No, that's in town.
Oh, that's in town. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, he's also sure.
That's
Then
where
I'll go.
Yenoro is heading. So
Then I'll go with.
you guys bundle up all your gear and your couple of horses. What do you got? 3 horses now? Yeah. Cuthbert has a horse, Alistair has a horse, and then I guess technically Arthur has a horse.
I'd like to also see if there's anybody willing to come with us for a price. Because I have plenty of coin. I want to see if I can hire one of these people
To come with you where?
to the Castle of Strahd when we need to go.
Ha! No fucking way. Nope. They laugh at you when you mention it and say, not a chance. If the devil wishes to see me, he'll have to come here.
If you wish. And he kind of shuts the coffer that's on his saddle.
Okay, so you guys get all your gear up and ready and start heading back towards town.
And Alistair offers his horse to Peace for the ride.
Okay.
Oh,
Now that we're wagonless. And
thank you, Alistair.
He has Arthur walk as well and offer the horse up to any of the ladies that are.
If you wouldn't mind, I'll ride in the afternoon, but I like to walk in the mornings. I feel better in the mornings.
I have a quick question. How many coins can a pouch hold?
50.
Okay, that's not so bad. And do you think any coins could have survived that fire?
No.
Okay, no problem.
Gunpowder went up on them, so
I was gonna say I had a couple fire bombs in my chest in my cart.
Yeah.
I had a thing. I bought a thing of gunpowder. Just it was an entire thing of gunpowder was in that cart.
Burgomaster's mansion just burned down, but the actual stable area
Blew up.
Well, massive fireball.
So even if it did survive, it's probably like scattered to like the 9 winds, like around.
The explosion might have put out the fire. You know, you just used up all the oxygen and just
Yeah. Nice thinking. So yeah, let's take a quick intermission then before you head back to town. If anybody needs to use the restroom, grab a snack, etc.
Cool.
I'll still be here if anybody wants to chit chat or go over anything in the meantime.
I just need the gypsy man's name.
Yanoro, Yanoro.
Why? One more time.
Yanoro. I can type it in the chat as well.
Okay, cool.
There it is.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. I presume you took notes of the reading and all that?
I did. I'm going to have to rewatch the broadcast for like the last 2 cards because Hangouts cut out on me, but I got most of it.
I can tell you what they were.
Cool.
We're in intermission if you want. So you got the first 3, yeah?
Yes. The 10 of Spades, Dizzying Heights, the rocks themselves live there. The spade is evil. You fight under its influence. The history card was the 7 of Spade. I'm in the ruins of supplication. Again, we fight under the influence of the spade. The object, the King of Hearts, a King's Throne is the place to find this. I started to write down something there, and
that was under the influence of the heart. Yep. So the what was it? The heart said is a good influence there. If you're there, the powers of good will aid you.
Good influence. I mean, that's good because if it's the King's Throne and it's in the castle, we just need to fight him in the throne room because that sounds like, you know, the 7th King of Hearts should be there for us.
The second to last card. She said, this card is good for you. It is a card of power and strength. The victor's card. It tells of a weapon of light, a weapon with a vengeance. And it was the Jack of Hearts, which said, the darkness loves a light and desires it. Great subtle plans are in motion about you, plans that the dead may find warmth from the living. Nope, sorry, that's the wrong thing.
I was going to say, that doesn't
That's
sound
not what it said at all. It said, this lies with a fallen prince of old. The brother of dark is light and rests in this place. And again, it was under the influence of the heart.
Dark is light and rests.
Sorry. There's a whole lot of notes here and different things to read for different cards. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then the last one was the root card. Out of darkness and chaos, this card finds the reason and foundation for darkness and chaos. This card shows the purpose of all things. It is the key of life and death and else beyond. And I kind of read it out of order here, but I should have read it in the order of, here is a high and noble card. Once one of you carries a weapon that is stronger than any other against the evil in this land. Only one part is missing from this weapon, and that part is found in the evil one's lair. And the card was the Ace of Hearts. And she said, this is a very bad sign. This is in the very heart of darkness, his home, his source. It is his center and his life. It is the one place to which he must return.
Oh, so it's like in his crypt, probably. Sounds like. If I know anything about vampires, he's going to go misty and go back to wherever this is. Must return. Thank you.
Probably didn't even really need to read the last part. Probably just the other part was all I really needed to read. It's a little bit unclear the way it's laid out. But so yeah, the first card was about a symbol of great power, powerful force for good and protection against the forces of darkness. The second card tells of history, knowledge of the ancients may help you understand a foe. The third card was the object of your search. Yep. So a powerful man whose enemy is light and whose powers are beyond mortality. You can make your own guesses as to who that might be. Then the fourth card told of the weapon of light and vengeance. And then the fifth card really was just meant to show you the purpose of all things. So yeah, really location doesn't matter so much for that. It's just the first part I said about one of you carrying a weapon that is stronger than any other against evil in this land. Only one part missing from this weapon, and that part is found in the evil one's lair. Which again, you know.
So are there two, like the power and strength of the victor's card, Jack of Hearts or whatever, that was supposed to be like another weapon? Am I understanding that right? Or no? Or was that part of, was that when you were reading the wrong part?
No. The Jack of Hearts was a card of power and strength, the victor's card, telling of a weapon of light, a weapon with
Okay.
a vengeance. Yep, and it was, as we said, it lies with a fallen prince of old. The brother of dark is light, and he rests in this place.
Brother of Dark is light.
I've returned to continue with our quest.
Oh my goodness. That voice is very creepy.
Sound like fucking, what's his name? Rip Van Winkle or whatever it was?
It's like, oh, hello there, darling.
The partridges. They were neither partridges nor family.
And now I've got like it's not Rip, but it's like the guy that sounds like him that's in Doubtfire.
Harvey Firestein.
Yes.
That's the brother in that movie. God, I forgot all about. I saw him on Broadway playing in Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh my gosh.
It was awful. He's a horrible singer. If I was a rich man, it was the worst thing in the world.
I just rejoined that. I've no idea what's going
Short story. The short version is Harvey Fierstein is a bad singer.
I love it. That is now immortalized for pretty much all time now. Got my new ringtone.
Are we missing everyone now? Do we have everyone back?
Yep, I'm back.
Jade's here. Ignacio, you there?
I'll wait for a second.
Okay, we'll wait for you to get back, Corinne. Ignacio will probably be back by then too. Everybody else seems to be here, so.
So I'm feeling like I'm probably going to have to make out some IOU contracts.
Oh, yeah?
If I loan any of you money, you have to pay me back with interest.
How much money do you have left?
I have 325 silver pieces.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Damn. I think I'm down to 50 and whatever Arthur had on him, which I only had 12 more, so I may have that depending on whether our DM is kind.
Let's
referee.
He's bound to have loads.
Well, I didn't buy any big ticket items except for the horse. The horse, I didn't get any retainers or anything like that. So.
Yeah, I might have bought 2 horses, a cart, 3 dogs, a retainer, a bunch of food. A little low on funds.
I have things like grappling hooks and manacles, and that's about it. Like,
I had my spare spell book with just the read magic spell copied into it, hidden in the cart if somebody stole my main one. So that's gone up.
I also lost 2 out of my 3 bottles of liquor, which is pretty disappointing.
you guys keep blaming me for losing all your stuff, but I think I got everything I could have possibly got. You guys should have followed me into the burning inferno.
It went rather quickly, so I don't think we really had time to say that. Oh yeah, we're going to go in there too.
I would have followed if I'd been there.
And you know, all I can grab, it happens to be my stuff.
It's all good, man.
Okay, Ignacio.
It's all right. I left less. I lost less than 30 silver.
Yeah, I didn't actually lose too much. Just all the food for the horses.
So we're ready to carry on. So you begin traveling. So who's on the horses? We've got Cuthbert, you're on one.
Yes, sir.
So who's on your two, Alistair? It's up to you. They're your horses, technically.
Well, I guess if Peace wanted to walk, would Ada or Edith like to ride? He's an old school gentleman in the 1700s, so you know.
Ada would, but
Yeah, they'll walk.
Okay, so then Alistair will ride and Arthur will be walking.
Okay, cool. So let's see here. We have the 7 of you plus Steve and Arthur and Stefan and Yenoro. Jesus Christ, a lot of you. It's 11 people. All right, and 3 horses. So as you're making your way down the road, you come to that fork where it turns left, which heads almost east towards the village, or southwest then, which, as Madam Eva told you, would lead eventually to the castle. You take the left, heading towards the village. The forest once again kind of creeps up around you on both sides. And let me determine this randomly. Let's see here. Jeez. Oh, I forgot. Actually, there's 13 of you because there's also Ismark and Arena, of course. Shit. God, there's a lot of people. Okay, do it this way. So that's going to be... Okay. Ada, you're on a horse, yeah?
yes, sir.
Okay. So as you guys are kind of moving along, those of you nearby where Ada is on her horse would hear a sound and see something punch up out of the ground underneath of her horse, and her horse will rear back violently, startled as something tries to grab it. An arm, a greenish arm coming up out of the ground. And I'm going to need you to give me a dexterity check, Ada, to stay on the horse.
Okay, good. I'm good at dex. I need to go under or above?
Under.
Under?
Equal to or under.
Ooh, 1.
Nice. Yeah, you managed to stay in the saddle, no problem, as the horse kind of kicks back and turns a bit. And yeah, and this grayish green arm, flesh is like hanging off in part, and you can see the bones and stuff comes up out. Several others start to pop up out of the ground all around you, and these well, for lack of any better word, these zombie-like beings start crawling up out of the ground. They look quite fragile. Their gray-green flesh looks soft, the bones brittle. But there's a total of 14 of them pulling up out of the ground as Irina kind of screams and huddles up next to her brother. Ismark draws his sword. The 2 gypsy men kind of drop back and pull out their short swords as well. What do the rest of you guys do?
I point my crossbow at one of them and shoot. One
Okay.
that's not engaged at the moment, of course.
Yeah, at the moment, none of them are quite engaged, so...
And you said it was just arms, right? Did I get that right?
No. The arms are then followed by the bodies as these zombies start crawling up out of the earth.
Oh, okay. Okay, I missed that part.
14 of them in total.
Ada, if she can. I don't know if you want to, yeah, but if she can, she's going to grab her holy symbol and start to, pray to turn undead if she can.
Okay, what about Edith? What are you going to do?
Edith will ready her axe and take a swing if she can.
Okay, Cuthbert?
I'd like to try to trample over them with the warhorse, Samuel.
Okay. Peace.
Peace will back towards a tree. So she's got a back to a tree and get out her scattergun musket.
Okay.
And shoot anything that follows her.
Alistair.
Alistair will make sure that his helm is secure and draw his sword and start to ride towards them so that he can take a swipe at them and then turn around and come back and do the same.
And Miklos.
He will take a shot into the crowd of them.
Okay. Let's get initiatives from everyone.
5 for me.
3 for me.
2.
Let me see if my... No.
If you're what?
If my 3 is working, but it's not. So...
oh, you can't type it in the chat, no?
No.
Right. That's the one key that doesn't work, yeah?
There are a couple, but...
Okay.
Of course, that's...
We have to start a GoFundMe to get Caius a new keyboard.
Both 3s are broken? The one across the top and on the 10 key? Or does your keyboard not have a 10 key? Oh,
no,
that sucks.
It has both. Both are down.
Wow. Fascinating. Okay, so it looks like the zombies are going to go first because they're on 7. They're fast zombies, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So, there are 14 of them. There are 13 of you. So everybody's going to get attacked by 1. With the exception of, let me see here. Ada has 2. And Cuthbert has 2. So I'll just go across in order as I see on my screen. So first, Miklos, you have a zombie come up out of the ground, and it starts kind of charging towards you, swinging its arms, and it's going to hit you with a natural 20 for 4 points of damage.
Okay.
Huh? Oh shit! Did I make that a while ago? Did I forget about it? I made a coffee and forgot all about it. Thanks. Oh, okay, cool. Grand. I didn't finish making it. I just left the coffee sitting in the cup and the water on the kettle. Now, so Miklos hit you for 4 points of damage, yeah?
Yep.
Alistair, one coming at you, gets a 16 to hit. Does that hit you? I have your...
No, it doesn't. I have an 18 because of all the shit I'm wearing.
Oh, well, I have your armor class written down as a 19. Was that because you had a shield before or something?
Oh. I don't know. Let me...
Okay. It missed you anyway.
Okay.
While you work on figuring that out.
I'll
Peace
figure it out.
misses you. Ada, you're still on your horse, yeah?
Yeah.
So they're going to attack your horse instead. One hits the horse for 1 point of damage. Ada's horse here. And the other one misses your horse. And then one on Torgal, that's going to be a 17. 17 doesn't hit you, does it?
Nope.
No, it does not. And one on Edith. That's going to miss for sure. And 2 on Cuthbert. Now, Cuthbert, you're on your horse as well. You're riding and trying to attack from your horse, right? Trying to trample. So they're going to attack your horse. It's a miss. And, ooh. Nope, that's going to be 2 misses. Then one on Ismark. Misses. One on... what's his name? Arthur. Misses. Oh, no, actually, hold on. Arthur doesn't have any armor class. No, he hits Arthur for... Ooh. Actually, one of them tackles Arthur to the ground and starts biting on his neck. And you hear him screaming. One attacks Steve and misses. One attacks Stefan and misses. And one attacks Yanoro and misses. And now, in your order of initiative, we have Torgal, you're next.
I fire point blank into the guy right in front of me.
Yep,
Who came
go
for
for
me. And that's going to be a total of 11, unless I get any extra bonus.
Is there a point blank modifier?
If they're wearing armor, it ignores the first 4 points.
No, they're not wearing armor. Nope. So 11. We'll still hit, though. Wait, will it? No, it doesn't. It misses. I apologize. It misses.
It would have hit if there was any flesh, but it goes through a part where like it's there's a hole in it and digs into the grass behind him.
Alistair, you are next. And Alistair, actually, they would have been attacking your horse, not you. Now I forgot you were on a horse, but still, whatever. Doesn't matter. Still call it a miss.
So Alistair will, seeing these zombies tackle Arthur, Alistair will rear his horse in that direction and try to pull it over there so that he can hop off and fend off whatever is.
You can make an attack on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, he'll try to get off his horse and swing for the thing.
Go for it.
Oh boy.
Have to save your manservant.
That's an 8.
An 8 is going to miss.
Yeah.
And as you miss, you see it rear up its head and tear out a chunk of Arthur's throat, and blood sprays everywhere. Next is Peace.
Peace. Hang on. So Arthur's. Does Arthur look like he's down?
Yeah, Arthur is down. This thing had tackled him to the ground and was biting at his neck. Alistair rode over, hopped off his horse, and swung at it, missing as it reared up its head and tore a chunk out of Arthur's throat, and blood is flying all over the place, and Arthur's eyes are open wide, and he's pale white and looking terrified. He would scream, but he can't now that a good portion of his throat's been torn out.
Damn. And who's our other servant?
Steve McKean. He has drawn a sword and is preparing to defend himself as well.
Oh, damn it.
Steve has a saber.
My plan. Okay, I'm gonna do the same tactic as yesterday, and I speed. I say the barriers of time do not affect us. Act quickly, and everybody within the group finds himself able to move faster. Haste allows you to move faster.
Oh, a second, let me mute us. He's got some weird background noise. Yeah, so you cast haste. How many targets does that affect? Everybody within a range?
I think so. Let me just check.
Yep. I couldn't remember if it had a limited number of targets. I think it did actually. I think it was enough that you could haste everyone in your party, but
the spell makes 1 creature per caster level, so 7.
So you're doing it on the 7 actual members of the Ever Victorious?
Yep.
Okay.
I will.
So Steve McKean, the 2 gypsies, and Ismark and Irene are left out. No problem. Yes. And Arthur. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's haste. And that allows everybody, take 2 actions?
All the hasted creatures' modes of movement are double in speed. Only 1 spell can be, but
right, they can only cast 1 spell per turn.
While hasted.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't give them. Oh wait, no. Yep, they make the double normal number of actions and automatically win initiative. So they all go on essentially 7 initiative, and they get double number of actions. So they can't take 2 attacks, but they can only cast 1 spell. Got it. Very good. Nicely done, Peace. So next we'll go with Edith.
All right, I'm gonna fight defensively. The first one is gonna be a 21.
That'll hit.
And the second one will be an 11.
That will miss.
And that is going to be 10 points of damage on the first one, or on my first hit.
Okay. This is Ada's horse. So you do 10 points of damage?
Yep.
Nice. Ooh. Yeah, you hit it. You take off one of its arms at the shoulder. The arm drops to the ground. But it's still alive, and it's still looking at you with, like, hate burning in its eyes. The arm hits the ground and then starts flailing at your legs. And next in initiative is going to be Cuthbert.
Okay, so and I get 2 attacks, right?
You do. Oh yeah, actually, sorry, Edith, you did roll 2 attacks. Yeah, Cuthbert, you get 2 attacks.
So like in one motion, I'm going to try to hit both of the zombies that are on either side of the horse.
Okay.
With the saber, like pulling it out of the sheath and hitting both of them in one moment or movement.
Yep.
And the first roll is a 16.
That'll hit.
And the second one is a 10.
That's a miss. So you hit the first one.
And it's only 2 damage.
2 damage. Okay, no problem. You hit it, but doesn't seem very phased at all by your attack. And Ada, you're next.
Okay, so like this is and praying, and she's going to cast Turn Undead.
Okay.
Which is a really complicated spell for some reason, but it's going to last for 4 rounds, 1d4 plus 2. And let's see, I roll 2d6 and the referee will reference the result on the Turn Undead table on the next page. 8. And let's see, if the roll is greater than or equal to the listed number level of the cat. Huh?
You're breaking up. You're breaking up a lot for some reason, Corinne. I don't know why.
Yeah. Table, and I am level 7, and so I rolled an 8.
You're level 7. You rolled an 8. Okay, so let me just double check this real quick. If the roll is greater than or equal to the listed number, then undead totaling no more than 1d6 plus level of casting cleric will flee to the best of their ability. If the roll is greater than or equal to the listed number. Oh, yes. Okay, so I look at their hit dice. Boom. And they are up there. So a T signifies no roll is necessary. The undead are automatically turned. Actually, these things go up to here. So actually, no, a roll of 5 or greater is required. So you rolled higher, though. You rolled, what did you say, 8? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So roll a D6 plus your level.
That will be 11.
Hello?
Rolled a 4. Rolled a 4, so plus my level is 11.
So you turn 11 of them. So I'll just randomly roll to see which ones did not get turned. Let's see. One fighting Torgal is not turned. One fighting Peace is not turned. And one fighting Steve McKean is not turned. So that other creature gets up off of Alistair, you know, blood and gore dripping from its mouth, and turns and starts to retreat into the trees, as do another 10 of the zombies in total. Only the one attacking Peace, the one attacking Torgal, and the one attacking Steve McKean remain. And next on initiative, well, I mean, you know, they're not like disappeared or anything, but they're retreating into the forest. So next up in initiative is Miklos.
Okay, the one that is attacking Peace, Miklos will run up to it and hold a flintlock, point blank against its head and pull the trigger.
Okay, give me a misfire roll.
Misfire roll. Oops. 3.
Okay, and go ahead and make your attack. Attack roll.
17.
Okay, damage.
8.
So the one on Peace takes 8 points of damage. You blow its arm off, or you're shooting it in the head, right? I'll say you blow its head off. The head hits the ground, severed from the body, and it starts rolling around, teeth still gnashing. And then it is, the rest of your party. So Steve McKean, with his saber, attacks the zombie in front of him and misses. Alistair reaches up and puts his hands over his ruined throat and tries to stop the blood from flowing out. Irina pulls out her sword and misses, attacking the zombie. That is, actually, no, sorry, there's no zombies attacking her. Sorry, I beg your pardon. No, she'll just kind of cower there with her brother Ismark, who also holding his sword out. She'll draw her sword still, but he'll hold his sword out and kind of hold her back and stand in front of her to ward off any zombies that come anywhere near them. The other two gypsies, seeing their zombies retreating, will just kind of breathe a sigh of relief and hold their swords up just in case they change their mind and watch to see what happens. And now it's initiative. Well, you guys are all on 7.
Yep.
So you all go first. So I'll just go in that same order as before. Torgal, your zombie is still there fighting you.
All right, for my first action, I will more quickly than normal, lay my crossbow on the ground, pull my shield and axe, and attack him for 14.
That'll you get a -2 for drawing the weapon this round on attacking.
Yeah, I already calculated it.
You did? Okay, then 14 is exactly enough to hit. Go for it. Damage.
7 points of damage.
7?
Yep.
Okay. Yep, you hack off an arm.
And I swing at it again. This time I got a 12.
That misses.
All right.
Next, then, we'll go with Alistair.
Seeing the zombie on Arthur retreat and him clutching at him at himself, Alistair will drop to a knee, drop his sword, put one hand on the boy's throat to help him stem the bleeding, and fumble for his holy symbol, and start to say a prayer to try to patch up his throat somehow with whatever radiance God might be willing to bless.
Okay, roll
Cure Light Wounds.
Roll your Cure Light Wounds.
Oh, hell yeah, I rolled a 6. And so that's 6 plus 7, so 13.
So you hold your hand over the wound, and you feel the love of God fill your being, and you feel the warmth, and you see light shining out from under your hand on his throat. And blood remains, but when you pull your hand away, the throat is whole again. And Arthur is just looking at you with his eyes wide. A little bit of color returning to his face. Next on initiative will be Peace.
Peace takes from her shoulder her scattergun musket and sits down on the floor next to Miklos. Miklos. And so in the sort of range of her gun, she's only got she sits in a position where the scatter of her gun will only get the zombie and fires.
You can shoot at the severed head.
Severed head and the legs of the one that's
okay,
and its legs if possible.
Misfire roll.
Yep. It's a D10, is it?
Yep. 1D10.
That's a 6. So they've got to make a breath save. DC 13, I think.
Nope, they fail their breath save.
So they take a D6 each.
Okay, you want to roll it for me?
Is it just what 2?
No, roll twice. Yep, roll twice. One does 2.
They both do 2.
Okay, 2 and 2. Okay, they're still moving, but they take a nice spray of bullets. And next is Edith.
And then because I'm able to do 2 actions, I'll.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was one shot. It's just because it was scattered. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. And I'll. From where I am, I'll just swing out with the butt of the thing,
rifle.
Ineffectively hit it. Don't get it. That's
you missed. Okay.
Yep.
Yep, it's a good idea though. Yep, rifles make for good clubbing weapons after they've been fired. So next in initiative is Edith.
So I'll kind of stride towards the one that's attacking. Is it Torgal?
Yep, there's one fighting Torgal, there's one fighting Peace, and Miklos is over there with her at the moment, and there's one fighting Steve McKean.
Yeah, I'll go rescue Steve then.
Okay, you go to Steve's aid. Go for it. You can get over to it, no problem. You've got double movement speed anyway, and you can make it 2 attacks.
All right, the first one is a 26, and the second one is a 22.
Ooh, 2 hits. Give me damage. Damage for each individually, please.
10 damage for the first one.
10.
Wow.
Yep. And a 7 for the second.
Oh, okay. So the first swing severs an arm, and again, the arm, like it seems like every time something gets severed off of these guys, it continues to act on its own. But your second blow, like, cuts straight into the thing, like halfway down the chest and down into the gut, and it kind of falls over dead, and then the arm drops limp, and you seem to have slain that zombie. Nicely done, Edith. Next is Cuthbert.
So who still has zombies on them?
Torgal has one, and Peace has one. Peace and Miklos.
My zombie just got killed, right?
No. She went to Steve's aid instead of yours.
Ah, I see.
So I guess I'll just go to whoever is closest.
Closest to you would be Torgal.
Okay. And I will swing. I'll just ride over there and try to swing my saber at it twice.
Go for it.
The first one is a 14 on the die, so that definitely hits, right?
Yep.
And the second one is a 20.
Yep. Both hits. Damage?
The first one is 1. Dang it, man! I gotta get a different PA. And the second one is 2.
Okay. It and its severed arm are still active, still moving. Next on initiative is Ada.
Okay, so I went ahead and rolled my stuff. I rolled an 8 on my turn, and then I only am turning 9 this round. And because, so even though I'm hasted, I have to maintain this turn undead. And so, like, Ada's just kind of sitting there, like, holding forth her crucifix and doing the O Domine Spiritus Sancti thing and keeping up the turn undead. The horse kind of doing the little, like, nervous clops as she continues praying.
Okay. What were you rolling for?
I have to roll each round to see if the turn continues to be effective and how many I can affect. So this time I'm only turning 9, but I rolled the same result as the time before. So
okay, so 2 of the zombies might actually turn and start coming back.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And how this is your second round on the
only
turn.
one of the 2 of them died, right? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm only able to turn 9 this go.
Okay, no problem. Got it. Next up off after Ada is Miklos. So you've still got this zombie body there and its head rolling around on the ground as Peace is now sitting on the ground having fired her scattered gun.
It's the same idea as Peace had with the clubbing with the weapon.
Okay. Yep.
But I don't think he's going to do it. He got a 7 and an 11.
Oh, both miss. Both miss. Well, you might hit, but superficially.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Okay, cool. Then let's see. Steve McKean looks at you and says, "Oh, thank you, Edith." And he runs over to assist Torgal. And he rolls a natural 20 and kills it because he rolls a 7 on the damage. So Steve McKean runs over and kills the zombie fighting Torgal. Its arm then flops lifelessly to the ground and stops moving.
Oh. Yeah, sorry. No, Austin was right. It is additional undead. So an additional 9 are now turned. That's how.
Okay. Well, in that case, they were turned and starting to retreat, but they haven't had their action yet. So
yeah.
Yep. Stephen Keen runs over and kills one of them. Ismark continues to just stand protectively in front of his sister Irina, and the two gypsies are watching their own ass.
Attacking or approaching a turned undead creature will negate the effects of the spell. So any that aren't killed before they turn and run, they're gonna stay.
That's fine. Well, only one was attacked, and it died.
Awesome.
So the only remaining one then is the one that was near Peace. It actually reaches down and picks up its head and starts to move quickly into the woods.
I look up at Steve and I say, "Ach, gute Kind." I go over and pick up my crossbow bolt and I say, it's hard to punch holes into things that already have holes in them.
And it starts to fall quiet again as you just hear the zombies kind of, rustling through the woods, but moving away from you.
Thank you, Ada. That was a effective spell you used against them.
Thanks, Ada. Or Peace, even. That's your name, not somehow still in character now.
That's actually the first time I've ever seen Turn Undead get used, I think, in one of my Lamentations games. Cool.
It's like, well, we were talking about going to a cemetery. It seemed like a good idea to prepare today.
Do you have another one of those?
If I can, and if we absolutely need to, I just wouldn't be able to heal anybody later.
Arthur sits up and he looks at you, Alistair, like almost worship in his eyes. He goes, "Oh, thank you, Father." And he runs over and gives you a big hug. I thought I was dying. My life flashed before my eyes. I thought I saw the Lord.
Take that experience and put it into the work you do. Now, get on the horse and hand me the rifle.
He does.
He'll stand up and re-sheath his sword and take the arquebus with the loaded with scatter shot. We shouldn't stay here for long. They may return.
I think I might take your offer of a horse, says Peace, if I may.
You can ride with me, Peace, if you want.
Thank you, Ada. And she climbs up behind Ada.
And Noro says, those were Strahd's creatures. They are composed of the bodies of the old guards of Castle Ravenloft. He must be after you. He knew where you were. He has spies everywhere, and he looks up at the trees and looks around.
Yes, we fended off some of his creatures last night, and Ada says as she glances over towards Ismark and Irina.
Ismark just looks at you grimly. Quickly, we must get to town.
Yes.
And you do. You make it the rest of the way back to the town unmolested, and to Bildrath's Mercantile, which is kind of just on the southern side of the square, across the street from the tavern. Where's my map again? I'll pull it back up here for. There you go. So yeah, they're marked there on the map. I can't really read the numbers from the screen. Oh yeah, so E1 would be the Mercantile, E2 there would be the tavern, if you can see that. Yep, and so when you go there, this is there's a little bit of light spilling out from behind drawn heavy curtains and through the cracks of the boards across the windows. Sign over the door, creaking on its hinges, says Bildrath's Mercantile. Stefan takes his leave from you and goes to the tavern to make sure everything is okay there and to check on Eric, the simple barman. Yeah, the building itself for the Mercantile is about 70 feet long, 40 feet wide. If you go in, you will see Bildrath behind the counter. He looks to be well. He's dressed kind of like a common Barovian, but you can tell by his features that he is definitely of gypsy stock. He says, "Welcome to Bildroth's Mercantile. Yenoro, it's good to see you." And Yenoro goes up to him and says, "You as well, Bildroth. I've come to tell you that Madam Eva has requested that you sell anything these people want at cost. They're going to be going to the castle and try to rid us of the Devil's Strahd." Bildroth kind of frowns at this and then sighs and says, "Well, if that is what Madam Eva wants, then it shall be done." And pretty much, I don't know how many of you guys actually have the rule book, but you'll find just about everything available with the exception of vehicles or animals. Yeah, anything else you'll see on there is available.
He doesn't have holy water, though, right?
He does have holy water.
And how much is he selling the holy water for?
25 silver pieces a flask.
Okay.
Are we going off the city or the rural pricing?
I shall replace my rope and grappling hook.
Going from city prices.
Cool.
Okay.
He says, I have something else that you may find invaluable if you're going to the castle. And he reaches under his underneath of his counter, and he pulls out a box, a rattling box. You hear glass rattling against glass as he sets it up on the counter and lifts the lid off the box. And inside you see 12 flasks of a almost luminescent blood red liquid. The flasks themselves were clear, so the liquid is what you see the color from.
What is this?
Healing potions.
Mm-hmm.
The last group of adventurers that traveled through here had a wizard with them who was able to whip up these potions. I bought several of them off of him for future use. I knew that they'd net me a good profit. Well, I guess I have to give them to you at cost now. And he looks at Yenoro kind of shadily. Says, so they're yours for 50 silver apiece.
I'll have one.
Very well. You give him 50 silver?
That's right.
He gives
After
you one
I empty my entire pouch into his hand, and then I just like turn it around to the others and just hold the empty pouch out in case somebody wants it with just a miffed expression on my face.
So you give one glass flask of this bright blood red liquid. You can mark that down as a healing potion.
All right.
And I'm going to be generous and say that you will get three uses out of each one. So
okay,
you can put down 3 uses.
And what did they do in Lamentations?
Well, I don't think Lamentations particularly has healing potions, but I'm going to say they do. I'm going to just go with 2d4 each dose, right? So if you drink the whole thing, that's 6d4.
I'd like to get some armor for the lad and about a week's worth of food for both ourselves and the 2 horses, as well as 2 more bedrolls.
Well, what kind of armor would you like for the lad? I don't have any plate mail on this side, but I think I have.
I'm afraid all I can afford at the moment is something along the lines of leather.
Well, that'll be 25 silver for that. Yeah, bedrolls. Let's see. I think I have some bedrolls here. Yes. Here we go. Those will be 2 silver pieces each. You want 2 of them, you said, yes?
Yes, thank you.
There you go. And what else was it? Oh, food, you said. Food.
Rations. I'll get just 1 week's worth of standard rations and 1 week's worth of animal feed. I may be back in a few days.
7 silver for each, so that'll be 14 more silver then. So 14 plus 4 is 8 plus 25. Sorry, 18 plus 25. You're looking at 43 silver.
And then I suppose I also lost my tobacco and my pipe, and can't go without that. We'll toss in the extra.
Tobacco will be another silver, and the pipe is also a silver. Unfortunately, it's not as nice as your old pipe, but it's a simple clay pipe.
Beggars and choosers and all that. Thank you. And that leaves me with 5. Awesome.
Very well. Anyone else?
Arthur still has some.
Anyone else wish to take advantage of Bildroth Mercantile's fire sale? And again, he looks at Yenoro and frowns.
I'll take. Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'll take a week's worth of regular standard rations and one of those vials of holy water.
So 7 silver for the food, 25 for the holy water. So you're looking at 32 silver.
Okay.
I'll have the same and a bedroll, please.
So 32 plus I think it was 2 silver for a bedroll. 34.
Okay.
I kept the bedroll that Yenaro let her borrow.
Yeah, I know.
I'll take a week's worth of rations, a bedroll, and one of those healing potions.
7, 8, 9, and a healing potion. 59 silver pieces, my lady. I've got 10 more of these left. Only 10. He says, who wants them?
I will buy 4 of them.
4 of them. That'll be 200 silver, please.
Cuthbert, would you possibly be willing to spot me a small amount of silver? Obviously, I'm good for it. I'm a man of my word. I would like to purchase myself one of these potions. They sound like they might come in handy in the days to come.
And Cuthbert kind of eyes you, still kind of weary about the children burning accusations, and just silently hands you one of the potions that he just purchased.
Alistair nods his head, kind of picking up on the suspicion, and thank you. I appreciate it. I'll repay you in full.
I'm sure we'll work something out.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to take part? I've got 6 more of these healing potions here. 50 silver a piece. I usually charge 500 for them.
You know what? I'll take 2 more.
2 more. Very good. Another 100 silver, sir. Only 4 remain.
Did the others buy food for everybody, or like is there extra? Basically?
Individuals.
I have some extra food, so like if you I guess if you guys started to try, because I have 15 days rations on the pack that the horse has, so I guess I would tell you guys to let's worry about the coming days, and we can worry about rations afterwards.
Don't worry about it. If we start to starve, I'll just butcher Cuthbert and we can feast.
And I'll take a few of these, says Peace, picking up some things that look like sort of skeletal D4s, caltrops. She'll take half a dozen caltrops.
Oh, very good. That would be 3 silver.
3 silver.
Anything else?
I'm
How
just
much
gonna.
is? Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say I'll just basically replace what I had in my list anyway: the crowbar, grappling hook, rope, all the basic essentials.
Okay. You can track that and write it down. You know how much it costs.
Yep.
You got the list. Okay. And what were you gonna say, Corinne?
Nah, never mind.
Change your mind?
Well, Austin had mentioned like, well, you can sell the mules, but then like, we can use them as pack animals too. So, you'd sell one. We don't have as much to carry. Maybe we could sell one of them.
You don't have any mules, right? You have what? 3 horses?
No, we had mules that were doing that. That were pulling the cart. We were
The
using
wagon.
our horses on them. Yeah, the wagon.
Shit, I forgot about those mules. Yeah, how many of those did you have? 2 of them, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, do we
Yeah.
want to use them as pack animals, or do we want to get some liquidation going on?
Pack animals,
Okay.
I think.
Does anyone have enough for a saddlebag for them, or some sort of pack?
A what?
A saddlebag or a pack for.
I can get a saddlebag.
Yes, and I'll get the other one.
Sure. 1
She
silver
had-
piece each.
Yeah, Ada hands over one of her remaining 5 silver.
And I the other.
Can each animal fit 1 saddlebag or 2?
I'm gonna assume that when it says saddlebag, that it's a pair.
Okay, cool.
I could be wrong about that, but
All right, then I already have
makes
one
sense
on
to me.
Then I already have one on each of my horses.
It
So
wouldn't make sense that you'd have one bag on one side and not on the other. You need to counterweight, right? So
yeah, right. That's what I thought.
okay, very good. Anything else?
Oh, an extra water skin. Wow, water. I can't say that word. Water skin.
Water skin. You can't say it in your fake accent.
No, I cannot. There's many words I can't say.
1 silver.
Ah, yes, of course.
No problem.
Don't suppose I could talk you into donating any of like the holy water or anything like that towards our cause? I mean,
Donating? He's like, I'm already selling these things at cost. I'm losing my livelihood here. You offend me, madam.
well, I mean, if we die, you can always get it back.
If
you
you
rather
die,
than
I
get
need to
it
have
from the
something to sell
priest?
to the next band of fools that wander through town, don't I?
Well, fine. I mean, it never hurts to ask.
And do you survive on these wandering fools that wander through towns? How often do you get parties coming through? Because I don't see any signs of industry in the village.
It's a good question. How often? Let me see here. Well, there's another group that comes through every 3 or 4 years usually.
Gonna hang on to your things for 3 or 4 years in hopes that somebody else will show up that you can make money off of?
I've been holding on to those healing potions for almost 5 years.
I can see why you prefer to charge through the roof for them if you only make 1 sale every 5 years.
Not to mention there are lone stray travelers who come through all the time.
Are there? And
They
what
never
happens
last
to
long
them?
either. They usually get eaten by Strahd, I suppose. I think, if you ask me, I think he gets tired of the local cuisine and he likes to feast on foreign blood when it comes through.
I just wonder what all these people eat.
I mean, what good does it do you to hang on to items for so long?
I suppose about as much good as it does for me to give away items for free. Maybe a little more.
Fair point.
I sell them eventually.
thank you for your service and hospitality.
You are very welcome, and you may thank Madam Eva as well.
Yes, of course, I am sure to thank her the next time I see her.
Okay. So there you go. Now, by this point in time, it's probably after 8 o'clock in the morning. What do you want to do next?
Let's go to the church, the church, and check the graveyard. See if we can find any. See if this is a place of supplication that they talk about that Madam Eva talked about.
Sure. Guys, head north back up to where the church is, the northwest end of town. I think it's shown on it is shown on the map there. You can see it on the northwest edge there, just under Barovia. Wait.
I don't know what we're looking for, but let's search through the graveyard and the church.
Actually, it's northeast on that map, isn't it?
Well, if
no. Sorry, that's not the church. The church is there northwest. Sorry, I see it there. It just looks a little bit different here. That's a house on the northeast side. I forgot I'm looking at the map in reverse because I'm running XSplit. So northwest end of town there's the church. You can see the graveyard behind it. Yeah. So
I'd like to check on the father first. After his assault last night, I'd like to make sure he's all right. He was a kind but harried man. He was quite assaulted by the things going on in this town.
You'll find him there. He's got a big bruise on his head from where he was battered the night before. But he's there. He's doing his prayers and trying to protect the church from evil.
Father, it's good to see you up and about.
Oh, Alistair, it's good to see you. I'm glad they didn't hurt you.
No, they had a bit of an emergency. I understand their haste, but not their methods. We wanted to ask you something. Does the fallen prince of old sound like anything to you?
Fallen prince of old.
A prince of light, with a weapon of light.
Well, Strahd himself was a prince, and he had a brother, Sergei, who died long, long, long ago.
The brother of the dark is light. Ada will repeat.
Would you happen to know his final resting place?
Sergei? He, well, I'm sure he's in the castle. There's a chapel in the castle itself, perhaps there, or perhaps he has a crypt. I've not been to the castle, you understand, and I have no intention of going there. He's not buried here, though, if that's what you mean to ask. He says, I was meaning to tell you last night before we were so rudely impressed upon. I believe there may be a book in the library of Ravenloft that might be able to help you fight the vampire. It is well known from even ancient times that Strahd had kept meticulous notes on everything that he did or said. Perhaps if you can make your way to the library in the castle, you will find something of use there, some weakness that you can exploit. That is, if you can get to the library of the castle without encountering the creature himself.
I thank you for sharing your knowledge. I'm not sure what we can do with it at this point. We need something else before we can take the monster on.
Where is the girl and Ismark? They're not with you now. They went, to the guest house in town to try and.
They departed when we returned to town to see to their lodgings for the evening. There was apparently some sort of an incident last night at their home. I've not been there. My companions know more.
I see. Yes. No. They it made mention of that last night. Something about a fire at the house. Was the entire place destroyed? He looks at Ada.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And what of their father?
Burgermeister passed away about, I guess.
I see.
We were going to bring him here for a proper burial, but, well, I'm afraid now he's resting in the ruins of his home.
Right.
I plan to return there later today and say at least a prayer over the ashes. Try to grant him some sense of peace.
Indeed. Well, perhaps we can do a service for the repose of his soul here before dusk. Seemed the right thing to do. That family, well, they're as cursed as the rest of this land, I suppose. Ismark is Kolyan's biological son. The girl, however, she is not his natural daughter. The old man found her one day at the edge of the Svalich woods near the pillar stone of Ravenloft. She was only a girl then. Didn't seem to have any memory of her past. So old Kolyan adopted her as though she were one of his own. Raised her and loved her dearly, he did. Do you think Ismark's intentions towards her are honorable? Although she may not know it, he certainly does know that they're not related after all.
I'm pretty sure she knows she's adopted now.
Oh?
May
Yeah.
have inadvertently let it slip.
Sorry, what'd you say, Corinne? You're still breaking up a lot on me.
May have inadvertently let it slip.
I see. It's probably for the better that she knows the truth anyway. I'm sure it changes nothing. Kolyan was the only father she ever knew.
I didn't get the sense that Ismark was anything other than honorable, at least.
Indeed. Well, good. If there is a future for this land without Strahd, we'll need him to be strong and to help rebuild the town, if it can be done. And what of you? What is your intention? What do you plan to do now?
Well, we had received some form of guidance from Madam Eva of the gypsies, and well, we were hoping that we would find some information here, but it seems like all roads lead to Ravenloft.
So you will go to the castle then?
Seems we are meant to.
When do you plan to go?
Ada looks at the others.
How long does it take to get there?
Well, I've never gone there myself, but I would say you should be able to make the trip in a couple of hours. Maybe less. I do not know. Kolyan used to wander around up there a bit, but I've never traveled that far myself. I've never traveled beyond the edge of the Svalich Woods southwest of here.
While he's talking, Peace is just looking around at the. She's been here before. The decorations around the church, see if there's anything that attracts her attention, and then other paintings on the walls, sort of stained glass windows, any sort of images up.
Yeah, there'd be some paintings on the walls of kind of religious themes and things of that sort. The stained glass windows have mostly been boarded over, so
it's difficult to see what images there are there.
Exactly.
And if there are any books, I mean, she'll just flick through just to see if they look fairly standard to her. Prayer books and Bibles and things.
Lots of prayer books and stories of the saints and things of that sort. Several different, editions of the Bible.
Don't suppose you have like any holy water that we could use in our mission? Might be useful against a creature such as Strahd.
I have very little prepared, but of course, if get some more fresh water, I could bless more water.
Do you know how to kill a vampire?
I'm afraid I do not. I have been fortunate enough never to encounter Strahd in my years here, but if I did, well, you probably know more about how to deal with such things than I do. I would suggest that you all arm yourselves, shield yourselves with with your faith in the Lord. Hey, he doesn't know you're a witch.
Alistair gives an approving nod.
What's the weather been like whilst we've been in Barovia? Has there been any sort of break in the mist? Can we see during the... I mean, how do we know it's day? Is there sunlight visible?
Oh, there's sunlight during the day. It doesn't often peek out from behind the clouds. It's very it's very overcast here most of the time, and it rains a little bit now and then at night, but it's autumn time, so the evenings are cool and the days are pretty decent temperature wise, but yeah. As far as the mists go, you see them more when it seems to be thicker in the woods than it is here around the village. But
can we see Castle Ravenloft from the village?
You can, yeah, you can. Although, let me see here. Let me pull up that image again. I'm not really fond of the way the mountain itself is depicted in that image because it looks like nearly impossible to get to. But I mean, that's kind of, in fact, looking at the map, yeah, that's pretty much almost exactly how you would see it if you were to look out the back of the church. That'd be like the cemetery behind the church, and you could see Castle Ravenloft looming high up on the mountain, well up above.
I think we should make our way there this night.
In the night? Why not wait till go up in the morning.
Well, it's only like what, 9 o'clock right now, maybe?
I'm
We
not
could-
willing to
Something like
brave
that.
I'm not willing to brave another attack from whatever monsters he wants to send our way.
We could always make
Well
our way
then,
back.
I won't have time to prepare more holy water, but perhaps we should do that service now. We can set the burgomaster's soul to rest, and I can give you a blessing.
Yes, let's bring the Burgermeister and set this enterprise off with a blessing. And
So you're actually
Ada-
going to go back to the mansion and try to dig your way
down
through the rubble to the basement?
No, there are ways for to have these kinds of services without bodies. I mean, because there happens
absolutely.
all the time. So,
Mhm.
you have services for men whose bodies you can't recover, or women. Yeah, so I'm sure Ada and Alistair will assist Father Donovich,
Mhm.
whatever he needs.
So I'll go and bring the Ivana and Ismak for the service. I'm sure they'd like to be present.
Very good. Yeah, they would for sure. And anybody in particular not want to take part in the service? No, everybody's willing to take part. Yeah.
I think it would be rude not to.
Okay. So he will hold a nice service in memory of Kolyan and Drirovich. Irina and Ismark will both shed tears for their father. Biological or not, he's, like I said, the only father Irina ever knew. And then he will bless all of you. So, each one of you gets 4 points that you can allocate to any future die roll. To hit, saving throw, skill check, surprise check, whatever the subject desires on a 1-to-1 basis. No, not on damage rolls. Or pretty much anything else. You have to declare, if it's a die roll that you're making, you have to declare how many points you want to use before you roll the dice. And that will last you until the following dawn. You set the Burgomaster's soul to rest. By the time that's all done, it's just about midday, nearly noon. And I think that's a good spot then for us to... oh, go ahead, Ada.
Sorry, as we're having the service or whatever, Ada would ask to add a little bit and just kind of say it's we all learned things about each other that maybe perhaps we wouldn't have shared otherwise, but we should remind ourselves to have compassion and forgiveness for others as well as for ourselves for any of our past transgressions. If you forgive other people for when they sin, your Heavenly Father will also forgive you, and so on and so forth. So, if try not to hold anything against anyone, because that weighs on your heart and keeps your soul from being free. And, well, we are the ever victorious, and we are not victorious if we are burdened by the past and other things. We are, holy men and holy women alongside characters of individual uniqueness, and we should remember that we are victorious because we are family. Amen.
Well said, Ada. Father Danovich says, if, before you go, anyone wishes to give confession or take communion, I will see to that.
Well done, Ada. You're clearly learning how to speak like a true cleric, though you need to go on for a bit longer if you're to really rise in the ranks, I think.
Well, I'm trying to show compassion to others by showing compassion to myself, and no one wants to hear me talk for that long. So I'm,
Nobody, when nobody doesn't want you to hear you speak, that doesn't usually stop a priest. You must get over that barrier, and then you'll make a true priest.
Well, there's a reason why I left the convent. I don't think I was going to make a very, very good holy mother. So, but thank you. Peace.
Very good. Okay. I think that's a good place to wrap the session. It's about that time. So we're going to pick this up again in 2 weeks' time. Same time, at 9 p.m. my local time. So
heading up to the castle.
4 p.m. Eastern. It's 10 p.m. I think for you, Caius, right? You do daylight savings time there?
No, it's 1 a.m. Oh, 10 p.m. that we start. Yep.
Yep. Cool. Or on the West Coast for you, Austin, that would be 1 p.m., right? Our starting time, I think.
Yep.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for another good session.
Mazel tov.
And it looks like then on session 4, we will be making the journey to Castle Ravenloft. So see you in a couple of weeks.